Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of TV, film, news, lifestyle, music, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. We're speaking about a horror movie coming on March 19th called Phobias. And we're speaking to Alexis Knapp about this. Alexis, welcome to Popternative.
Hello, Pete. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you for doing this. I mean, right off the bat, this project's a lot different than projects you have worked on in the past. What was it like kind of working on this project? Because it's a horror movie, but it's also an anthology as well.
Yeah. It was actually really confusing for a while. I didn't understand that there was multiple directors and all that stuff. Like, I got the most limited amount of information pre-going in, and then kind of just learned as I was there. And I also didn't know that Hana May Lee was going to be there until I showed up. And I was like, oh my God, yes! Like our fourth or fifth thing working on together.
Well, you have worked, you did Vamp You, which is like comedy horror, but I mean, this one is, but like this one is like horror, and also kind of has to do with a lot of kind of things happening in our society and everything. What did you kind of learn about the horror genre after like shooting this film, Alexis?
Well, you never saw Grace, I take it. There's this movie I did called Grace, The Possession, and that was definitely horror.
When did you do that one?
That was right before Ground Floor. It was like 2013. It was a while back.
Well, that was when Vamp You came out a little bit, no?
Well, maybe came out, yeah.
Okay,
Vamp You was the first thing I ever did. First thing I ever freaking did. The story to that is hilarious. But what I learned about the genre after doing Phobias, I found it really fun when, I think it's pretty obvious that my character dies because I posted a still of myself with foam coming out of my mouth, so I can just say that. But expressing, the pain and the confusion, it's actually a lot of fun. It wasn't like
I wasn't expecting you to say that just now.
Oh, people say that a lot.
But no, definitely from the trailer, it's just there's a lot kind of when people watch the trailer for it, there's a lot going on in the trailer. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what to expect from this film. There is a lot going on. There's a lot of different stories going on too.
That's fair. That's a fair assumption. Yeah. There's a lot of stories, a lot of directors, a lot of cast, a lot of correlating stories that all bundle up and then make sense at the end.
Absolutely. You've worked in a lot of comedy. You've worked in a lot of comedy. A lot of people know you from the Pitch Perfect movies. That is more of a upbeat vibe.
Definitely.
This is not upbeat vibe. But do you kind of think about the fact that when you work on films like Phobias, that kind of allows you to be more of a well-rounded storyteller, Alexis? It's important.
100%. I've never liked being typecasted into one thing, especially a genre. Like, I don't know how some people find their niche and then they just do that, like rom-coms. Yeah. The rest of my existence are rom-coms. And it's like, that's just so limiting. It's not truthful to the human condition if you're, you have to do a lot of different type of work behind the scenes, but if you're going to be an actor that's like literally like channeling the different sides of you and the human experience at all times, you kind of need to do every freaking genre because that's the only way to express everything.
But it's interesting too because there's like what you're kind of talking about right now is like genre bending, and I feel like that is happening a lot now in music as well, right? Where I'm listening to so many artists. Yeah, but I don't even know what's going. Like I listen to so many artists these days, Alexis. I don't even know what to call it. Like I really don't. There's like so much like sounds going on.
I could never genre lies like music. I can never like be like, oh, that's clearly like I never know because it's just I like electronic music and it's definitely not techno. I like a lot of different stuff, but I like to put names on it. Oh my God, labels are just they don't agree with me.
So I do need to know this then because a lot of people, because you've been like a lot of people, you've been acting for quite some time, but Project X seemed to be that project that movie where like people kind of started to know who Alexis Knapp was.
Yeah, that was the one that started it all, definitely.
I saw that in theaters.
Oh, thank you.
I remember exactly where I remember that night. I saw that in theaters after a really bad exam. We were bummed. We went to go see Project X.
Oh my Lord, how old were you?
Like mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
So
that's
we're
good.
okay. We're okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I was about to say you were 17. Oh my God, get out of here.
But that was when it kind of started. But like that movie came out, it was crazy. There was all these effects and everything. Did a movie like that make you want to do big scale projects though? Because that was big scale, right? In terms of what it looked like and the fire on the streets. Like there's a lot going on.
That's a great question. Actually, I feel like it did the opposite because it was so big and so like over the top. You can't really get more crazy than that. I mean, you can, but
yeah,
it was so over the top and like so many. I mean, I remember showing up for one night of some pickups or something, and it was just coming into this fake neighborhood on fire. The trees, everything was on fire, just casually staying lit. Like they were like. That was how they were set up to continuously burn. And I'm like, this is so fucking freaky. But no, actually, I really wanted to do like, I'm always fighting towards going towards the opposite of whatever I just did. Like, I'm always, like, I'm just this, like, I have this internal dichotomy radar that is like, oh, I just did this thing. I need to do the complete opposite. So because I did like a big one, I was looking for like smaller indie type things that were like more emotional, more like, more silent, more, philosophical, introspective, stuff like that. And there was this one film, it was called Julia, that I got. It was going to be my first starring film, like right around the same time. And then my reps convinced me not to do it because it didn't have enough budget. And they're like, even if you give an Oscar-winning performance, they're never going to shoot it right, blah, blah, blah. And I regret listening to them. Yeah, that's what they literally told me.
Yeah, and then the other side of the spectrum is like those projects, and then there's Pitch Perfect, right?
Yeah. And because I kept getting stuff that became like blockbustery, they weren't allowing me to go into these indie realms, and they just kept shooting me at the most commercial stuff. And I was unfortunately being such a like little passive follower that I didn't like fight for what I really wanted. So yeah, I mean, a lot of this.
Absolutely. We'll wrap up with a Phobias question. Before that, Pitch Perfect. I mean, those movies made me like the riff off scenes and everything. Those just like, if that doesn't get you pumped up and go back on Spotify and like listen to all those songs, I don't know what will, right? Like the riff offs are huge in those for like going back to the music and everything. I mean, it all looked like it was just such a good time as well.
It really was. I don't think the films would be what they are without the riff off. Like that element is so pure to the whole world of Pitch Perfect. And they really were the funnest days. Yeah. I mean, these battles, like, oh man, you get really into it. Like there's so much stuff that happened that they don't put into the film. Like it was a freaking blast.
But not the riff off, but your reveal. I mean, I have to say, one of the things in the pandemic I miss karaoke so much, Alexis, and I can't do it because of the pandemic. And my go-to karaoke song is "Since You've Been Gone" by Kelly Clarkson.
Aww, really?
So yeah, and that's where we meet your character in Pitch Perfect for the first time.
Yeah. Oh my God,
which is awesome. It's Since You've Been Gone and "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi. Those are my two.
Classic.
What are you?
I used to be into "Living on a Prayer" back in the day. Something happened along the lines. It's dead to me now.
Well, like, what else are some? I mean, there's so many. Like "Africa" by Toto is one I always do.
Africa because I was just thinking about an African song. The types of stuff that, because I like oppositeness, I go to a karaoke place and I want them to play music that they've never heard of in their whole life, like a movie called Boat People, a song called Boat People, or Black Man in a White World. Yep. Or like all these like very controversial songs that are talking about like some fucked up shit, but like have a great beat. And I'm like, yeah, that's the one. And they're like, Yeah, it still hasn't happened.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Alexis, thank you so much for coming on Popternative to talk about phobias and your other projects. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Pete. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Phobias is coming on March 19th. Very quickly, what do you hope people get out of Phobias when they watch it?
I hope that they get so blasted by all the fear and paranoia and all that shit that it like somehow finds a chord that triggers them into their own fears and stuff, and that they get some kind of like adrenaline boost out of it and get strong. Like I'm gonna face out of this. Like I'm not gonna go cower and then put on something else that's comforting me, but like find the courage within yourself to face your fears, because that's the only way to get rid of them.
That's well said. And people can follow you on social media, Alexis Knapp on Instagram.
Yes, that's
awesome.
it.
Thank
and
you
Twitter,
so much.
everything.
Yeah,
Thank
perfect.
you. Thanks, Pete.
No problem. This
Take
has been
care.
Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Till next time, still Alexis Knapp and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.